Hello CreateStudio user. In this tutorial I will show you how to create a fake 3D mug rotation like the following in CreateStudio 3. I will show you the animation. Look here at the left side of the canvas. I play it. Okay. As a freebie, you will get the project file to this animation, link as always in the description. Let's begin. I go with a new project. Go with editing mode high. In this case, I go with the resolution to vertical because it looks better on a vertical canvas. And now let's begin with a square. I bring this to the timeline and make its duration. I make it about 10 seconds. If you need more or less time for your animation, then go down or up with the duration. With the color, I go to white in my case. And the scale, I go and unlock here the scale, and with the X scale I go to 54 so that it has more like a mug shape. With the properties I go with the Y position, I go down to something like for 530, so that I'm here on the bottom. And now let's go with the corners. Therefore I go to this corner point and bring this here in, something like this. I don't want this roundness to the upper corners, so I go with, let's bring this in, I go with a guide, and I also go up with the snap strength here to something like 8 because I need this later to be a little stronger. And let's bring this here down to a point like, I think something like this. So now I go with this upper left corner point with holding the shift key and bring this here up to the guide. And I make the same for the right upper corner. I think this is okay. Let's see. I can go a little bit more. I think something like this here. Let's zoom in. Shift key, hold shift, bring it down. To this point. And to this point. It's a little bit tricky, but I think this is okay. So now I have my mug shape, and what I now make, I make 2 duplicates of it. One, I go with the bottom one, bring this to the side, and let's snap it here. Make another one, go with the bottom one, and bring this to the right side. I need this later for the logo and the brand image. And now I go with 2 vertical guides and bring them to the center of the left shape and the right shape so that it snaps. Now I can delete these two shapes. And now I'm good to go. Okay. Let's begin with the logo. Later we go with a gradient to more simulate a mug, the roundness of a mug. But let's make this later. So I go to my media tab and go first with the, bring this down with the logo. Let's go with the duration also to 10 seconds. And with the scale, I go to, let's go with 44. And center it on the mug so that it snaps right at the center. And I make the same for the brand image. Bring it on the timeline. Go with 44. And bring this down. Because the mug has a roundness, so you have to go with the width down. And to make this, I go and make here a group. First of the logo. Let's rename it to logo. And I make the same with the brand. Let's group it and rename it to brand. So I bring this a little up here. Let's go now in the group, in the logo group. And here I scale this and X to 41. And what I also make is I go and edit the group canvas manual and bring this in to this side and to this side. Finish editing and let's go back to the main timeline. Now I make the same with the brand. Go into the group, go here, unlock scale, X 41 and go back to the main timeline. Let's see, I think I can go a little bit more down. So let's bring this here and scale this to 40. And I make the same here with the brand. So it has more the look of the roundness of the mug. And what I have to say, it's not important, but it's better if the image of the logo and the image of the brand has the same size before you bring them into CreateStudio Free. Okay, now we go with the animation. And this is up to you. I want the animation start at 1 second. This means that the logo, I bring this here to the side, the logo stays here 1 second and then the animation begins. If you want the logo to stay longer, you have to go with 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds. This is up to you. Okay, I go with 1 second and then I make the animation, position, scale, easing, in, out, linear. And I want the animation last 1 second 10 frames. So I go now to 2 second 10 frames to this point here. And here at this point, I bring now, let's go here to the side, I bring now the logo image and center it on this left guide. So I bring this here to the left and center it here. And I also go with the width to 0. The problem is when I go here in the properties, here I don't have the possibility for this group to go with the X to 0. So I have to do this manual. It will also not work if you go with the image. You can unlock this, but if you go here to 0, it makes it for both keyframes. So this doesn't work. I have tried it. It doesn't work. Okay. So let's now go and bring here this into the guide and also the right side into the guide. So now I have something like this. I make this because here at the side, the logo or the brand should be have another width, a lower width than when it's here at the front. And with this guide, I think this is a good method to reach this goal. Okay, let's now go to the brand and bring this to the first keyframe of the logo and make the same animation at in, out, linear, properties, position, scale, and we make the same duration. Bring this keyframe to here. This is right, but now we have to go with the first keyframe and we drag this to the center of the right guide and make the same. Bring this side in and this side in so that we have an X of 0, an X scale of 0, and now we have something like this. What you see is when here at this edge here, the logo leaves the mark, then is the goal is that the brand here, when I go one step further, comes into the mark. So I have to go with this. Let's bring this, let's say, to 25. Let's now see if this is okay. Now I have the logo here a little bit outside the mark, and here I have it a little bit inside the mark, so that it matches now better. You see, I have now this. Now I have to mask here the logo and the brand so that it only is visible on the mark. And therefore I make a duplicate of the mark and call this square logo and brand track mat. And now I select the logo, properties, track mat, mask, square logo and brand track mat. Because it's white, you can go with Luma, but it's better to go with Alpha if you want to have a different color for the mark. And I do the same for the brand. Track mat, mask, this. So I now, when I play this now, I have something like this. Nice. Okay. What I now want to have better the roundness of the mug, I go for a gradient. And therefore I make another copy of the square, or duplicate the square, and let's call this square mug gradient, and bring this to the top on the top of the timeline. And now I go with the color at the right with linear gradient. I make another, let's call it color point here in about the middle, and let's go here for a darker gray. I go with color code 2D, 2D, 2D. I think this is nice. Let's copy this code. Controller Command C. And go to the right color point and Controller Command V, bring this in. So now I have this, and I can go with the highlight here to the left or to the right. I go here a little bit to the right, say something like this. Okay. And what I go here with is a blend mode, so that we can see the things below. And here go multiply. So now I have something like this. Nice. Okay. What you also see that the highlight, you don't see it on the dark color here of the logo or of the brand. So I go with a duplicate of this gradient and duplicate it. Let's rename this and call it highlight. Okay. And for the colors, I go with the first color, with the black color or with the dark gray color. I go with the opacity to 0, and I make the same for the last color. The white color is okay. I go here down. So now if this is okay for you, let's see the difference. It's a little bit darker here, and so I go with another blend mode. I go here with hard light. This is too much, so I go down with the opacity, let's say to 50. So now I have also this this highlight not only on the light colors, I have it also on the darker colors. If this is too much for you, you can go with the opacity to 40 or lower, but this is up to you. I leave it at 50. Okay, now I don't need the guides anymore. And I look if everything is nicely named. And now I go with a group, and I group this all with Controller Command A and Controller Command G. To not have this part here for the bounding box, let's go into the group, edit manual, and bring this side to the left so that it snaps here at the edge of the mug. Finish editing and go back to main timeline. Here I have to center it. And now I have this one. I think this is nice, but it's not perfect. But if you go now with another animation, this will make it nearly perfect. I go with a position animation so that it goes up and down during the rotation, during the fake rotation. And I begin also with this at the 1 second point. If your animation here starts with let's say 1.15 frames or 2 seconds, you have to begin here also with this keyframe or with this position. You see this is the first keyframe of the rotating logo, and this is the same position as now the beginning of the position animation up and down. So I go with add animation, position, easing. In this case I go without soft, so that it begins fast and then it slows down at the top. And I go with the second keyframe. You see now I am between the logo and the brand. Sorry. And at this point I go with the second keyframe and bring this now up. We have here 530 for the Y position, and I go then with minus 530. So that now it's here at the top. This is the animation now. And now I go with another animation. Let's select this track. And here I go without bounce, because I want this bounce effect. You see this here in the preview. Properties, position. And with this keyframe I go back to the plus 530. So now I have to adjust this a little bit, because the first bounce, which is here, I want to have the end of the animation of the brand. And the end of the animation of the brand is, let's go frame by frame. Let's see. This is here. When I go, here is the end of the animation. You can also go here and then back to the main timeline. Then you have the right point. Now I go with the this I go a little bit more to the right. So now it's down here. Let's see if I'm right here. Goes up, goes down, and the first bounce is here. And this is the end of the brand animation. And then it goes up again, down, down, down. So when I now play it, I have this nice animation. Okay, let's go for the keyframes positions. The first one is, for me, it's 1 second. The next one is 1 second 17 frames. And the last keyframe is 3 seconds and 6 frames. So if you go with the same settings of this, you can go then with these numbers. Let's play again. And you see that this animation here going up and down with this bouncing makes also the rotation of the mug, or the fake rotation of the mug, more natural. Okay, before I end this tutorial, let's go into the project file, which, as I said, you get as a freebie. But for all non-All Acces Pass members, I want to show you a few things. Therefore, let's go with a new project. Let's exit and go with resolution vertical settings high. And I have this here as a scene. Let's bring this on the timeline. What you see, I have here also a mobile phone, let's call it mockup or device. If you like it and you are not an All Acces Pass user, you can go into the project file. This is the project file you can download. And here you have the media folder. And when you open the media folder, you get here also the three parts of the mobile phone. The first one, and always go with the high SVG. You see here this weird number with the high SVG. And this is this part here, these icons. Then you have this, here is the high version. This is, let's bring this a little bit to the right. This is this part and also the background of the icons. You have it here. This is the background of the whole mobile phone with the animation. Also go here with the high one. I have trimmed it to the canvas. And another thing is the body of the mobile phone. This is here, this file, and this is also with high. This, because it's black, it's not good to see. But when I go into the group, in the mobile phone group, then you see that this is the body. Then this is the other shape here with the battery and these icons. And the last thing is, this is the battery, and this are the video buttons here at the top. And I have also here a rectangle. You see here the scale 43:3 with a blur of 120. This is for a floor shadow, which you better see here at the bottom. What I also have in is, and therefore I have to go in this group, you have this video. And this I found in the studio under visual effects. And let's go for the downloaded one. Come on. Close this. This is this particle 4. I have flipped it vertical. You see the particles go up and here the particles go down. You see also that the color is different and also the speed is different than here. So I go here with two effects. First with clip speed I go down to 50%, and with the U rotation I go with 263 degrees to match the color of the logo, which I also make this color as a background with this color here. This also is, I go here with the color picker, go to the logo, and then I go down with the color so that it's a little darker than the logo. But this particle video has no background, so you have to go with a background then. In this case with a square. Okay, and the last one I want to show you here is the text. I go here with an animation, position, scale, easing, the same as the MAC in this case. Out bounce. The animation begins with the MAC animation, MAC down animation. You see This is the markdown animation with the bounce, and I have the same duration here for the text. And I also have position and scale, so I go here with these properties y minus 350 and scale 50. I begin with scale 50 so that the text stays inside the mark, or is inside the mark at the beginning. And here at the end, the scale is 128, and also the Y position changes here to minus 226. So if you want to replicate this, you can go with these numbers. And what I also go with is when I go to the settings, I go with this gradient. I go with a darker gray, which matches here the gray of the gradient. I make the same at the other side. This is here this. And for the highlight, I make here a guide. So when I go in here, this is the highlight of the mug. This is here. I go with a guide to this point, and I want also the highlight then on the text. So I have here this white, or this highlight. I don't know if you see it here, but when I go here to this point, I don't know if you see it better when I go more in, perhaps. Sometimes it's better to go more out. You see here the highlight goes from left to right and right to left, and I go then and bring it to the guide here, so that when I have here the highlight of the mug, I have it at the same position here on the text. I think I'm through now. Let's play this project the last time. Go with the F key and let's play it. Okay, I hope this will help you. Thank you and goodbye.